I'm Kayaditi, and we're headed to Blokhaven for lots of tips and tricks, and absolutely always holes in one. So I do like to go to the front corner of that red hump just to get that little roll there, but the truth is, even though I'm showing 8 ways to Sunday to do this and actually get an ace, in game, I mean, it's probably not going in the hole. So the safest thing to do in game is just take it to the right, just to guarantee it's going to bank around the red hill. And then you've got a really safe birdie. Two, I found to be more predictable. So all of those first ones banked back into the hole. This one did a weird thing tapping off the black circle in the center. But it's just a little left of that dot that's on the ground. Right there's that dot. Little to the left of it. And see, it just banks right back in. Now this one came back fast and dived into the hole. That one I did go over the dot. But that pace I wouldn't try in game. Definitely less predictable. So banking it to the right, you know, right-handed, left-handed people, there's a big dot there near the side rail. And you're going to be about that far over. See where that tiny dot is? It's a little left of the tiny dot. With 3, this birdie is reliable. You're just going to send it back there through the side. Don't get funny with it, since it's not going to love to jump back in the hole anyway. Now a little crazier is to kind of go off the side and hope it banks back nicely. That does tend to give it a line to the hole, but it also is more likely to go wrong. I was surprised when that landed in game because I wasn't even really thinking about it. But it hit really close to that little edge that would have sent the ball going crazy. This ace is a little farther back, a little safer, more likely to go in the hole, but maybe that's a little forgiving. Still not really going to do it in game, honestly. And that one was just weird and fun. Kind of hit there and then it banked off that thing in the center. Definitely not a line I would try to use in game. So with 4, you've got safe ways to get it back there. Just don't go too strong on the strength or it's going to use that hill and jump right out. So different things you can do to get birdies. Just kind of ride that little red hill that goes down in front of the hole. Go to the left where it kind of banks around. So this is interesting. This ace is the one I got first, but notice how it kind of taps over the edge of that red. So you bank about here so that it'll come back right at the front of that red. Then you notice it goes right over this little hill, but see how it's sticking up? So that's not going to trap it. It's going to go right over it. So 5, right there, right before that break in the wall. Either way, it's generally a good line to get you in that yellow area. As long as it doesn't catch anything. Anyway, it's the way I like to approach it. Not this insanity right here. So on 6, you can just go straight over the top, but I've noticed it usually does that. It comes in too fast to stay. Going to the side over there where that first stripe is, that gives it a little bank that comes back to the hole. Going up towards the edge did it. The one lower down, that first one I found to be the most consistent and did several times. But showing some other things. Like a dunk, because you just gotta. Notice how you have to kind of go to the right of the hole because of the angle it's at. You've got to kind of go that way because it's going to make the ball pop back a little bit. So on 7, you've got these little bowls you're choosing to putt to. This is blue and red, so blue's going to get you a little bit of distance. Red C gets you a little farther. The ace, of course, is going for the far right. You've got to get into that white hole. But when it goes, see how it's going to kind of catch that edge down there, but it tends to jump over it. And so I kind of find I'm putting just in front of that edge. Now this one actually jumped and dove right in. The earlier ones, you'll notice, are a little more normal. But it's right there. if one prefers to kind of see the line, that's really where you're hitting it at to get the best line. And I was able to do that one over and over and over. So the birdie on 8, you can hit it harder and get it to go all the way around, but it catches those little black things and kind of goes out more often than I would have expected. So you could always take it a little slower and get this line right here. That'll get you a relatively easy birdie if it seems frustrating trying to hit it harder with accuracy. These are just staying in the inner circle. The ball is not jumping out of that track. And this is a second one. One went straight to it, one banked back to it, just using that inner circle. Now this one, I started on the inner circle, and it ended up jumping out to the third track, and then came around and banked back in. So pacing is going to change a lot with how that ball's going to act. This was kind of funny on 9 because you can see I'm like looking away. I totally thought it had gone out. So it's a friendly reminder to hold that trigger. So right at the front edge of the yellow dip in the floor. Yeah, I've not played that many times and it's gone in twice. Here I just tried to skip all the wells altogether, and that did go in relatively quickly, but I'm definitely doing the edge of the yellow in game. So 10, this is the ace you're going to be irritated when you don't get it, because it's just a little medium pace going through that yellow circle, because it's an incline, so you've got to give it a little more juice, but it's not a hard tap. And as you can see, I mean, you can just do it over and over and over and over, like it's extremely reliable. If you ever hit the yellow, who knows, you might get lucky anyway. So here's one in the white path. I was curious to see how long it would take to actually do that. Not terribly long. And did it twice, and it was like the same looking path. I'm like, So at 11, if you get on top of these moving cubes, it will roll off. So you can't just go over the red when it's all the way down. Get it on the way back there and get that reliable birdie. 11 is another surprisingly reliable one. You bank it off the front of that blue block on the left, or possibly left-handed, do it off the red block on the right, and it just goes right back there and banks in the hole. I've actually done it 4 times already in game, and probably only played 7 times. So I'm really surprised how consistent that is. That one came back off the black block and then dropped in. 12. If you jump all the way to the red, it's going to go back, catch those blue triangles, and then come back. And so you've got a very long putt. So carefully jumping to the blue as far as you can without going over will get it to do this right up next to the hole. Gotta love that. It's an albatross. Now, see, you miss it. I'm on the yellow level instead, and you still just bounce it on through. Don't take the long way around. If you feel like you can pace it, just do that. So for the ace, I had to get it as kind of far on that blue as I could get it, and it still go. Of course, in a straight line, which was over that dot on the floor, and it just went right to the hole. This one's just a straight shot to the hole. I feel like it's aiming slightly left, though. Rather than looking at it as a perfectly straight line, just because of those things it's got to go over, I have to go a little left, and then you notice it kind of arcs back to the right a little bit. So that's really the trick on that one. Now that one I just tapped it back for fun, just to see what would happen, and went in pretty quick. I love how it just goes swoop right into the hole at the end. Tiniest dunk. So 14, you could kind of try to aim towards the top of that blue block and maybe bounce it over. But this dot, you have to be right on that dot, though. It's not forgiving. But if you can hit it straight over that with that nice medium pace, it gets all the way around. And this time I hit it a little harder over that, and it did actually ride up that and come back into the hole for a nice ace doing that. So here I'm going just to the left of that dot on the red, and that actually came back over the hill this way and went in. And the last one, a gentle tap over the top. It looks simple. That is much harder than it looks. So it's probably the one I recommend the least. 15. If you could just get it around and then birdie it in a bank like that, then, well, you've got it in 2. But to get it in 1, you're trying to slow roll it down the other side of that top red point. So I like to see just go over the yellow there, right there. Just go right over the edge of that yellow. For me, it controls the pacing better to get it up there so that it's going to get over the top and roll down. I just found it a lot easier than when I was trying to go straight up the red, which if you hit it hard enough is more likely to go off the back of the red. So go right over the edge of the yellow. One prefers a bank. I do find this harder to do myself just because the pacing, but you can try to bank it, line it up with the back of that post, and then have that be a line that goes over. I wait till that's kind of out of the way, pointing at me, and then slip right on through. And that banks back where you might get lucky and it drops in the hole. If you wait till it's angled like that, then you might get the bank off the side and come back to the hole. Either way, you're getting back there, and so birdie should be pretty good. I thought, how long would it take to get one kind of crazy through the side? And it happened like the 3rd try. You can see me, I'm like, oh, well, okay. Well, alrighty then. 17. Go just to the left there. It'll roll right over the top and drop back in. Not always back in the hole, but back into the area you need on that white circle. Now I hit that a little harder to get it to pop up, to see if I could get a little dunk out of it. Didn't quite do it. It barely missed it, and then it rolled right back into it. Would not try that in game. It is likely to bounce out a lot. This is fun though. Got this ace first, and it happened pretty quick. You just hit that with a good medium pace, and it just catches that wall and goes back around. Head to the right gently enough, and it can catch that little arc there, and that'll roll it straight to the hole. A little harder would come off the wall. Definitely don't recommend that. So 18. Well, whenever those things are up, trying to get it to gently roll around, it likes to catch on the hole, it likes to have the hole knock it back down the hill. I was really surprised this landed in game since I had no thought of actually pulling that off. It took me a while to get it to do that, where it would just smoothly drop in the hole as an ace, because usually it's catching the hole in some weird way, and it's not doing that. This was the first ace I got. I actually went looking for a different path and got this fairly quickly. And this is my cold feet ace for the wedding. It left the building and came back. Alright guys, subscribe if you like. I hope you're enjoying Blokhaven, and likes and comments are always welcome. Thank you so much.